So, a huge week in state politics, and of course in Queensland with Campbell Newman making a run for the job of Premier from outside of the Parliament. It's unconventional. It comes against a news poll too, which showed the greatest recovery in news poll history for Anna Bligh. She went from a satisfaction rating of 24% in December to 49% in March. But this morning, another poll. And this takes in, of course, the latest changes, and this was in the Sunday Mail this morning, Galaxy poll, which shows that Campbell Newman would not only win Ashgrove, and he requires a 7% swing, but the two-party preferred, according to them, 58-42 in favour of the LNP. So what that suggests is, look, it's audacious, but it might work.
Yeah, it also suggests that things change pretty quickly in Queensland, not just meteorologically, politically as well. I reckon it's very, very chaotic and confused there at the moment. This is an extraordinary thing that Campbell Newman's announced that he's going to do. It's sort of attention-grabbing. It's very interesting for Jeff Seeney. I mean, that's the strangest job ever now, isn't it, officially? I think that, once again, Queensland has performed an important national role in making New South Wales look more normal, than it rightfully should. But I think, there's such volatility around that you're going to see things moving around a lot over the...
You can see some tensions in that setup at the moment. The interim leader, Jeff Seeney, is saying, look, I'm going to appoint, it's my job. In fact, he says I have a statutory obligation to appoint new front benches to replace the two.
Just hold that thought. We'll listen to them on that point, and then we'll get your views. Here they are.
Ultimately, the legality of it that it has to be done by Jeff Seeney, but I will be making the call on those appointments.
So if you disagree with Jeff Seeney on anything, who gets the final say, you or him?
Well, my belief is that ultimately it's my call, and I'm sure that Jeff will understand and see it that way.
Brian?
Well, there's no statutory obligation. And not our constitutional things. In the federal constitution, the Prime Minister doesn't crack a mention, let alone the Leader of the Opposition. So there's nothing, as far as I'm aware of, that gives you a statutory obligation. But what if Sweeney and the Parliamentary Party say, no, we want X or Y to be the... in there? What do they do about the de facto
Campbell
leader?
Newman isn't a particularly biddable individual either. I mean, he's obviously not averse to highly unorthodox manoeuvres. I mean, there's plenty of wiggle room.
I think you're making it all too complex. I assume that the Liberal National Party in Queensland want to win. I assume that Campbell Newman is the best person to lead them. They'll sort it out. I don't think these.
Well, you might recall though once before, and they were in coalition, and of course not more formally as they are now, but they couldn't decide who was going to be Premier in the event of a victory.
Yeah, I think you're heroically underestimating the ability of the Queensland.
There is no question among either party that, because it's now a united party, that they want Campbell Newman. It's nothing like it was 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. I mean, they want Campbell Newman. It is messy. They couldn't find him a safe Liberal seat. They found him what's almost a safe Labor seat, and that was unfortunate for the Liberals and Nationals in Queensland, but they'll sort it out, because I assume they want to win, and it might work.
If the polls are more volatile, he might win that seat, and nonetheless the combined parties might win the election, in which case maybe
I think if the move is on, then Ashgrove would go as a result, especially with him.
I take Jared's point about the Liberal Party the Liberal National Party as a whole, but this is also a Campbell Newman issue as well. I mean, don't forget that he's currently the mayor. I mean, he's had a lot of strong support for the work that he's done in recovery from the floods. I think there is another whole dimension here about the fact that he is vacating an office, not just trying to assume a new one. And I think that's going to be problematic as well. And we know that there is a long and discouraging history of Brisbane Lord Mayors trying to seek further office.
So a mayor of Brisbane, the elections for the whole of Queensland's the most decentralised state in Australia. That poll suggests he's going to do fine throughout the rest of Queensland.
Mr Newman has travelled widely in Queensland. He's an ex-army man. He's worked in business, in the grain industry and the mining industry. He's travelled widely in Queensland. He's one of the best-known politicians in Australia. And the two star performers at a political level out of the floods were Anna Bligh and
Campbell. And a reflection of that is that poll that I just mentioned before, and a preferred Premier is 51. Newman 38, 51-38, Newman over Bligh. So maybe that suggests that Anna Bligh wouldn't want to go early because what she probably needs is a bit of time, let the Parliament sit, and if it does prove to be an absurd situation, that will work for her.
I reckon she's going to sit back, get herself some popcorn and see what happens, and that's what I'd do too if I were she.